Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I thought it'd be great to take you through the garden today and show you what's looking beautiful. I've been gone for nearly a week, so not only do I have a gazillion weeds, we're gonna ignore those, so please bear with me, but some things are looking really beautiful and just taking my breath away right now, like this container right here. Look at that. It's probably my most favorite thing. Oh, I have two favorite things, but I'll show you those in a moment. But I'm gonna take you through the entire garden and show you what's looking great and maybe what's not looking so great. So I'm gonna flip this around and take you through it. So this basket here is probably my most favorite right now. It is my most favorite. This is Monarch Magic Ageratum and some Creeping Jenny Lysimachia. And it lives up to its name. There are monarch butterflies on it every day, and they've been here for the last several weeks since it started blooming. So I first saw Monarch Magic last year at the gardens at Ball, and it's a beautiful spiller as well. So it just kind of spreads out. You can use it in containers or in the garden. It looks gorgeous, very low maintenance. And I put it in this basket because it doesn't mind drying out a little bit. These are really tough plants. Last year, this basket was a zombie basket. It looked beautiful for a little while, but I had some dahlias in there and a few other things that were just so thirsty. It just didn't look so great. So I'm hoping that this will have a better outcome, and so far so good. And the pollinator aspect of it too is just another win for me. So definitely a beautiful plant for containers and in the landscape. And then if you remember last year, I took cuttings from the Pink Batik geranium, which is this guy here, with some Savola, and I think that that's beautiful. So the key here is just to keep deadheading, and they just keep right on flowering. But look at the variegation in those flowers. So pretty and such an easy plant to propagate. And then back here is, I think this is Rise Up Amberness. This was a sample from Proven Winners. Rise Up Amberness Rose with some, underplanted with some Lysimachia. I didn't have a place for this right now, so I just decided, well, let me put it in a container and see what happens. And so far so good. Full sun, happy as can be, and I'm loving it there for right now. And then moving on from here, these containers here, I can't get over how quickly they just popped with the elephant ear in there and the dahlia and the snapdragon, summer snapdragon. Who are these guys? Sometimes I forget all these names, but I like to keep the tags to everything in the back of the container. So let's see, who do we have here? This is, the thriller in this container is Emerald Isle Alocasia. There's some Star Diva Blue Savola. That's this guy here. And then I've got a couple other just, what's this dahlia? I'm trying to, oh, and then the Angel Face White Angelonia. Angelonia is a great annual. It just flowers like crazy, can take really hot conditions, dry conditions, and it just keeps going for it. And then the dahlia in here is Virtuoso Rad Raz, constantly in flower. As long as you deadhead, you are good to go. So, oh, and then what's this little ground? Oh, and then this guy, I am loving this Aptenia Mizzou Trailing Red. Look at that. It's spilling over both sides of the container. So I just repeated the design over here too. And then show you what these flowers look like in this little container here. I have the same thing here spilling over with some, there's a mangave in here that I propagated, and then these little red flowers in this Mizzou Trailing Red. And then I gotta show you this too. This is that succulent container I made earlier in the year from cuttings that I took last year, and look at how it's filling out. Not a flower in sight, but you don't need flowers when you've got colors, foliage colors and textures like this. I adore this container. And then this guy here, this is Evening Rose. I think it's Evening Rose. Oh no, it's not Evening Rose. It's Summer Storm Hibiscus. This is a perennial hibiscus. Beautiful, deep colored leaves. And it is huge. It's enormous this year. And I think it's just because I've been watering it more. Let me put this plant tag down. I've been watering it more frequently because I've been trying to get this Sweet Summer Love. I transplanted that from another part of the garden. This is Sweet Summer Love Clematis, and I want it to grow up this trellis here so that I can train it across the pergola there. But this Summer Storm, I think it's Summer Storm. Summer Storm is really, really happy right here. And the patio's looking all right. There are a few containers that are not so great, but for the most part, I'm happy with how things are coming along. And I have a little pile of things here that I've not gotten to yet. Not too bad. You should have seen this patio. Maybe you did see it. This patio was absolutely covered in plants that I was kind of stressed about. I'm like, where am I going to put all of this stuff? So I got it all in. But you know what? Let me take you around the back side here. And this is that lemon squeeze pennisetum. And you can see here, it's telling me it needs to be divided because it's starting to donut here. So that's something I will do next spring. And look at that lovely weed there. Gorgeous. And then I've got some dahlias in the front here. I think that's raspberry ice. That's really got a very pretty flower on it. Lots of weeds. My silver fox mangave. And I can't wait to show you what's around this side here, the patio. So these are Matrona sedum in here. That's just a workhorse for me, especially in the late summer, fall garden. Now look at these coneflower. You guys, I have high hopes for these guys. How cute are those? They're beautiful. So the problem here that I have with new coneflower introductions is that they're not always reliable. I've been burned several times. You just never know what's going to come back. These coneflower are from a series called Sunseeker, and this variety is Sunseeker Salmon. But look at the little pinked tips on the flowers. So pretty. And the problem with the new introductions, in my opinion, is that they're not reliable. Sometimes certain ones come back and sometimes they don't. And really the only reliable ones that have been in my garden are the old varieties like Magnus, White Swan, Powwow Ruby. That's the Powwow series. But so far, so good. I mean, these guys are really, really cute. And I'm trying out a rattlesnake master. This is our only native yucca, so extremely pollinator friendly. Look at these flowers on it. They're just these really cute little spiky balls. And then this plant here. I love this plant. So this is Drops of Jupiter oregano, ornamental oregano. More of the Monarch Magic ageratum. And then look at the sunflower, you guys. This is a Sunfinity double yellow sunflower. Isn't that beautiful? You guys, this is such a pollinator friendly, it's a pollinator beacon. I always have swallowtails on here, the monarchs. I've got all kinds of things, bees in here. This is a very happy place for pollinators. And then I've repeated the Sunseeker salmon coneflower here too. Gosh, I hope these guys fill out because look at how cute they are. And then I've got some annual salvia and more of the Matrona sedum through here. There's some denim and lace Perovskia that's just about to pop. And then I have some random poppy, so breadseed poppies in here. I don't recall throwing them down, but the seeds can last for a long time. So I love those seed heads. And then I've got to show you, this is my Boom Chocolata geranium in here with a decent amount of bindweed. Ugh. It's killing me, you guys. So this is literally waist high. I didn't realize, I don't think Boom Chocolate is supposed to get that high, that tall, but it needs to be cut back and refreshed and then it'll flush again. But my geranium is super huge. And then through here, so I am the November person, the November ambassador for Wave Gardening. This is their 30th anniversary. So Wave sent me their new introduction. This is Pink Pearl. This is to commemorate their 30th anniversary. This is Pink Pearl, and it'll be available in 2026. But I combined it with the Navy Velour Wave Petunia because I felt like the deep color of the Navy Velour would make the Pink Pearl pop. So I underplanted. This is my vanilla strawberry standard tree hydrangea. And I got my fountain going again too. So this is such a beacon for birds. I always have birds on here except for right now, obviously. And then coming through here, my Oscar Petersons. I need to deadhead some. These are my Easy Elegance Oscar Peterson roses from First Edition Shrubs and Trees. And some salvia in here. And then I did the dahlias back here, supported all those guys. And then this is Candy Crush hibiscus, but look back here, you guys. I didn't think my Musabaju or Hardy Banana was going to make it. It didn't wake up. I thought, okay, it's toast. I didn't protect it this past fall. Just kind of left it alone, and lo and behold, I feel like It's going for total garden domination. Look at back here. The Sun King Aurelia doesn't stand a chance. It's just swallowing it up, and there's all these new little shoots coming up in here. So I'm gonna have to do some editing in here, or else everything's gonna be eaten up by Musabaju. So there are worse problems to have, right? But let me take you around the backside. Now, these don't look very significant right here. I'm into geraniums, you guys. I love perennial geranium. I want more of them. So I ordered a variety that I'd been looking for I ordered from Great Garden Plants. Doesn't look like much right now. I need to give them a drink. But this is a variety called Raven. It has kind of a yellowish, has a yellow tinge to the foliage, but these deep purple flowers all over it. So I just ordered 3 little guys, and I'm gonna rearrange this in here. I've got some work to do this fall, actually all over the garden, but I have high hopes for these 3 little guys that don't look like much right now. And then moving around this side, this is wee hydrangea, wee hosta from Proven Winners. And I had been looking for this. This is a carex. This is Feather Falls. Look at the wispy. I can imagine this in a container just spilling over the sides, but I really wanted this to go with my Eclipse hydrangea. And I have to tell you a little bit about this Eclipse because it's a macrophylla. I don't have much luck with macrophyllas. So you can see that it's flowering. It's still it's young. So look at that flower on there and look at that foliage. So it gets morning sun, afternoon shade, and I've never had a mac flower for me. And look what we have. Obviously there's flowers. So see what I mean about the banana too? The banana is just going bananas. But I felt like this combination of the Feather Falls carex and the Eclipse hydrangea from First Edition Shrubs and Trees would be a really nice textural thing, and the Sun King Aurelia being swallowed up. But I really like the color variation in the foliage and the textures. And then on the opposite side, I did some moving around. I did a video on this last year and I called it my jewel garden. Well, the jewel garden didn't work out so great. I really struggle with getting fern to establish in my garden. Maybe I'm not watering it enough, I don't know. But what I did was I have a little crested fern back here that's not any great shakes right now, but probably, no doubt it's gardener error or something going on with the gardener. It's not the plant, because that plant is a wonderful plant. But I decided I wanted more of the all gold Hakanakloa or Japanese forest grass. So I popped 2 more in here. And then my hens and chicks, I have them along here. Some ajuga came back. What is that? Blue Angel hosta in here. I have this is Ligularia Britt Marie Crawford, and it's got a really beautiful, look at the underside, the color of the leaves on the underside. It's got a really cool shape, and it develops a yellow flower. Not very happy right now because it's transplanted from the back corner of the garden, which I'll show you in a moment because that's going to be one of our major projects this fall. But I felt like the textures, the leaf shape and all that would be really beautiful together. The grasses, the rounded shape, deep color of the Ligularia, the blue hosta. So we'll see. You never know. It's a crapshoot. And then this is where a lot of work's going to happen this year. So the pussy willow trees, I've mentioned this to you before. Pussy willow trees are on the way out, and you can see they've got this fungus all over it. Let me get out of the light. So see all this in here? At one point, you can see more of it. It was just oozing. Oh, you can see some of it here too. There we go. So the whole plant has this. It is, both my pussy willow trees are struggling. So these guys, they're coming out. So this whole corner, I've really neglected it because this is going to get redone this fall. So my thought is, where the Adirondacks are, I want to put in a small shed because it'll be really convenient to have a space to keep all of my tools back here, because this is where most of my work is. So we want to drop in a shed, and then I'll reconfigure this. We want to put a little fire pit back here and sort of connect it to the veg garden. So while we're back here, let me show you what's happening in the veg garden. My fruit snacks trees are doing great. Look at this pumpkin, you guys. It's enormous. And then I've got some borage coming up in here. And you know, once you've got borage, you always have borage. But look at, there's lots of things in the flowers. And my raspberry shortcake raspberries I need to harvest, but look at that. These are from Bushel and Berry, and I have them in a whiskey barrel, and it's so pretty. But let me take you back here. I've got more borage coming up in here. My carrots, I'm super stoked about my carrots because they are, not only did I have, look at those caps on there. Not only did I have a bunch of swallowtail caterpillars in here, and I may have more yet, but I'm going to have some great carrots. Look at that. I've got my dwarf tomato project tomatoes in here. I've got my jalapenos for my husband because I make the jalapeno pepper jelly for him. Probably need to harvest my garlic soon and in here and figure out what's going to be planted in there next. And then let me take you this way. More borage. Look at that. So pretty. And then this is my bean. I've got beans in here, some zucchini, some zinnia back here, and then this is my Emerald Towers basil. Gorgeous. And then this bed. So I netted it because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get beaten to my blueberries. But look at, they're just starting to color up. I've got two varieties in here. I've got jelly bean and peach sorbet. So this is peach sorbet. Look at those berries, you guys. Yes, you can have blueberries in a raised bed in a small space. I mean, you could even grow these in containers if you wanted to. This is the one that I had for the last 2 years, transplanted it. It's kind of struggling, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do with him to get him going again. But I got this netting from Gardener's Supply along with these stakes to hold it in place, and it's definitely doing the trick. And then this is my basil Thai Towers basil. That's the Thai basil. So it's a really nice combination too. And then some strawberries. I've got a couple different varieties of strawberries down here. So things are looking great. And I've got some mint in these containers here because I do like a mojito from time to time. I got a couple different types of mint. I do have one casualty, my poor phenomenal fig. So when I was at Bailey Nursery last week, I forgot to tell the kids to water this plant. And it's been so hot here in the Chicago area. It's been absolutely miserable. So that is, I mean, that's really the only thing that I've lost. And I guess, I mean, small price to pay. The kids did a great job. And then in my earth box here, I've got some Greek oregano, and I've got more jalapenos because my husband can't get enough jalapenos. And then I know these have fallen out of favor. Look at the black lace sambucus or elderberry. Love that plant. But I know daylilies have fallen out of favor, although I do love my Salome Double Classic. It's one of the first ones I ever bought, and I've just kept multiplying, dividing it, giving it away. And the flowers are so fragrant, and I just keep deadheading and just keeps blooming. So it'll bloom for most of July, and then it'll peter out, and it's just a beautiful plant. And you can see back here, I've got zinnias in here. I use the flags to remind me to water, but I've got bindweed like crazy. I mean, it's truly a curse. So that is, need to cut the grass too, but lots of clover. And so far the clover's been working. Most of the backyard is clover, and the rabbits will eat that, and they've stayed out of here, so I'm lucky for that. But let me take you, before we leave the backyard, let me take you to this side. And here's why you need to call before you dig. We thought we remembered where our cable line was back here, and we were digging a hole for to pour some cement to anchor a post for a hose reel, and we cut the cable cord. So that's what this cord is. We have to bury it yet. So yeah, call before you dig, always. But this is the side of this is the west side. So this is a really hot part of the garden. And things are young here because I've divided things, transplanted. I've got some dahlias back here. Those are seed dahlias from Sarah Berkeley. My Forever Susan lilies popped while I was away, but a few small ones left. And then I've got dahlias that are coming around here. And then my sea holly is, I feel like that needs to be moved though because it's too big for that space, and it's going to cover up where my dahlias are coming up. And I've got some coleus back here, and yes, I'm reconfiguring this shape here. This is actually a hose. Let me move back here. So I want to bring, this is the hose here. I want to bring this bed out a little more for a little more space. So I need to take out these stones. These are all things I'm going to do one of these days. But I want to widen it so I've got a little bit more planting space here. And I've got a ton of weeds between these stepping stones, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. It's just the weeds are out competing the elfin thyme. So this has been like this. I've had this space for, probably 15 16 years. And so, you know, things run their course and they need to be reconfigured because things don't look nice forever. So I'm gonna revamp this at some point, but look at these lilies, you guys. I started these from small tubers, and these are Royal Sunset lilies. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? And look, the bindweed just, it needs a piece of it. Bindweed is making me bananas. But Royal Sunset is just beautiful. So yeah, I was thinking the Royal Sunset, once I widen this is Calamintha nepeta in here, by the way. Great plant. I keep dividing it and hi, moving it around the garden because it's low maintenance. It's like the United Nations of pollinator plants because you will find everything loving this plant. So my thought is to take the Royal Sunset out and put them all through here, and then I'll plant some zinnia too, because once those are done, you're going to need some flowers to go with that. So probably move in some zinnias with that next year. And then I've got this guy. I'm forgetting who this is, but I've got this dahlia popping too, and I love the deep colored foliage of that. All right, let's go to the other. Now let's go to the front. Show you what I've got going on in there. Oh, and this is this little guy here. I bought a bunch of these at Home Depot. I saw them last year at Home Depot at the Gardens at Ball. And this is Little Lamb stackies or lamb's ear. And super cute, and it does flower, so you can just cut off the flowers if you're not feeling it. But look at that perfect little tuft that it forms. So moving this way, some wishbone flower in the container with a bit of creeping Jenny. And then I've got some drift roses. I just cut everything back. That is my Thai giant elephant ear. I'm in a competition, I guess, to see who can grow the biggest elephant ear. This guy was just broken when I received it. So we'll see what happens. So far, so good. And then I've got some hydrangea arborescens back here. And things are just kind of, I need to do a lot of deadheading. My white wands veronica, some salvia, that's back to the fuchsia. Need to cut all that back. And then moving this way, I do think I'm gonna take out my James Galway climbing roses. They're just too much work with the thrips and everything, and I really don't want things that require more work, having to order nematodes or beneficials. I just don't want to deal with all that. I want something that doesn't require extra work for me. And look at this. I gave my neighbor some lilies. Look at her gorgeous lilies. She's doing such a good job. So that's the garden that we connected. We're kind of working together to connect the gardens. Here, I'll take you to the other side. See, lots of deadheading to do. We got some daisies. This is that Ragucci clematis that I just love. But this is her garden here. And so we're working on views. She put in a little border in here. So she's got a hydrangea in here and some lilies, some alliums I divided for her, and we put Millennium allium on that side. It's a really hot site for her. So let me take you to the front of the garden here. Things are so dry, you guys. We haven't had any rain, and it's just not happy. But in this area here, I've got more dahlias and another drift rose. This is a red drift rose that I thought would be really pretty with the lilac perennial hibiscus. And then some bubble bath allium that is just starting to come up. And then I've been watering the cornus moss. It's been in the garden for 2 years now, and with the heat that we've been having, no rain, I really tried to stay on top of watering the deciduous trees and shrubs for the first 2 years, and then the conifers for the first 3. Consistent watering because I don't want to lose them, and they're the most expensive investment in the garden. Let's go over to the side yard. So things are really starting to pop in the side yard garden. The Sprobolus is really happy beneath my Tian Shin Seven Suns tree. I can't get over how the Tian Shin has popped this year, and it's so healthy looking. No supplemental watering, and it's doing great. Let me show you a close-up of what will be flowers. Should be gorgeous. And then the Sprobolus underneath it. And then through here, I have some, I think those are Gold Rush. Yes, those are Gold Rush Rebecca in this space here. and then some yarrow and some double scoop coneflower, a couple different varieties. I don't care. You know, it's interesting when you get plants in and you put them together, and this was a sample that actually these were both samples that I received. I really dislike that color combination. So one of these guys is gonna have to move, but I think I'm gonna take the yarrow out and move it with his friends over here where I have several others and kind of wrap the rose bush in here. And I feel like one of my most favorite plants is this Bleeding Hearts Heliopsis. Look at this, the foliage is so dark and the flowers just keep coming, very pollinator friendly. I have some Euphoria, Eupatorium or Joe Pye weed in here. The Rudbeckia maxima. I planted it years ago in another part of the garden, and I picked it because it's also called Dumbo's ears, and my kids were small, loved Dumbo, so had to put that in. But let me take you closer so you can see the glaucous leaves. But look at, mostly basil, it's all basil foliage. And then the flower stalks, I believe they can get up to like 7 or 8 feet tall. But look at that cone. Isn't that so cool? Such a neat plant. And then I've got the Sensation honeysuckle in here that I can't wait for it to clamber up the pillar here. And then moving this way, I've got more of the Monarch Magic Ageratum because I had extra of it and it was just, you know, no brainer, put it wherever I can. And back here, you know what, let me take you around the back side really quick. And I planted a Datura years ago from seed called Ballerina Yellow. And then I decided I would really like to have Ballerina Purple this year. So this is the green pillar crab apples from First Edition Shrubs and Trees. Did a video on that last year. And then in the center of it, I did Diamond Rouge Panicle Hydrangea. And since it's small and I wanted to cover some space, I decided to do the Ballerina Purple Datura in here. Look at this, look at that flower. Isn't that beautiful? So I flanked it 1, 2, 3. And then I've got all these gorgeous poppies that are coming up. And wouldn't you know, they all flowered. Ooh, there's a dahlia, I think that is HS Date coming up in here. I love the dark foliage of the HS Dahlia series. So that's through here. And then I've got some zinnias through here. I think that's Senorita. Let me back up. And the good old standby Magnus coneflower. Can't go wrong with that guy. And more daylilies. I've got 2 different varieties in here. One is called Cherry Cheeks and the other one is called Egyptian Spice. So I forget who's, you know, we'll know soon enough, obviously. And then, oh, look at that Ballerina Purple Datura. And if you're interested in that, be mindful, super poisonous, you guys. Poisonous to animals, poisonous to people. Don't plant it where, if you've got pets that like to nibble on things, just don't plant that. Lots of buds on my daylilies. This is that Sting Arborvitae here. I've been really working to incorporate more conifers into the garden just for winter interest, for structure. So yeah, I've been kind of peppering it in here. And then I've got a peach tree. This is Bonfire Peach. I love the texture of it. Didn't think it was gonna come back. I have it in the garden, in the ground. I've had it in a container that I've kept in the house for the winter and decided that's it. I'm gonna put it out here and see what it does. And it came back. It doesn't look very lush, but it came back nonetheless. So we'll see what happens. And then I've got some Mahogany Splendor hibiscus in here. That is an annual. And I thought that would be beautiful. This plant here is cordon bleu hibiscus, giant silver flowers with kind of a silvery blue flower color. You'll see that later in there when I give you another tour. But the center of it is burgundy. So I thought a nice play off that color would be the Mahogany Splendor hibiscus. And then that there is Iceberg Alley willow. Absolutely gorgeous plant. And I wish I had smell-o-vision again because these just smell divine. Beautiful. That's that Sensation honeysuckle. And then through here I've got amaranth. And amaranth is one of those plants where if you plant amaranth, it's like borage, jewels of opar. Amaranth always comes back. So this one here I've got red spike. I've moved some around too. I had to fill some holes. So I dug some up from other parts of the garden and popped them in here, and that's why they're kind of wilty right now. But look at the leaf color on that. But I believe there's coral fountain in here and then red spike. I think that's what I've got. So I've got some pretty tall ones in here too. And then, wait, there's more. So one of my favorite combinations, so this here, this wall here is oh gosh, why am I forgetting? A polar, what is the name of it? Anyway, it's from First Editions, or not First Edition, it's Proven Winners. And they're a more narrow form of arborvitae for smaller spaces. So more of the Magnus coneflower. And then this guy here, this is elderberry. This is laced up elderberry. Gorgeous. And it's got a narrow shape to it. It's not as sprawling as like the black lace. And then I planted it with, and I do need to deadhead this obviously, but you can't tell how beautiful it was. But the Sweet Fragrance Rose from it's an Easy Elegance Rose from First Edition Shrubs and Trees. And that was a beautiful combination. But all of these poppies flowered when I was away, you guys. But I do love the seed heads. Aren't they neat? And then this grass that I'm super happy about is called Puppy Love. And it's a pennisetum. It is super happy out here and just growing so well. And then I've got some coneflower. Oh, I've got some weeds in here too that need to go. Oh yeah, let's get that out of here. There we go. So got some coneflower, and then this plant here I have to tell you about because I am amazed by it. Oh, there's a little egg in here. Okay, anyway, so this is a Stokes aster. This is one called Riptide. So it's from this Totally Stokes series from Proven Winners. Look at all the buds on this. Last year this came as a very small sample. And I was really surprised by it because for being brand new to the garden, it just flowered and flowered and flowered and didn't require a ton of supplemental watering after I got it established. And look at, it's even bigger this year. So very pollinator friendly too, by the way. And then just beyond that is Touch of Blush, Heliopsis. And this one I noticed, if you look down in here when I was weeding yesterday, it reseeds. So definitely a cedar. But I love variegated foliage, and the flowers are so pretty, and they just keep coming. And then just beyond here is one of my most favorite plants, and I planted more of it yesterday because I found a couple cans of it at Walmart. This is a Veronica that does really well in my garden called Skyward Pink from Darwin Perennials. So let me give you a close-up of that too. How pretty is that? Super pollinator friendly, low maintenance, and I mean, you don't even have to deadhead it, even though you should. It just keeps flowering. So very happy plant. And then I've got my Catinus. That is, gosh, why are these names getting away from me right now? The view's so pretty that way. But some phlox in here. I need to cut back some salvia. And the thing that's just going bananas in here is my anemone. This is Honorine Jobert. That anemone can really take off. They form these colonies, these underground, these rhizomes, and they just swallow everything up. So I do need to do some editing so they don't eat up the silver gumdrop coral bell that I've woven through here. And then my Verity Weeping Japanese Maple, looking great. Okay, so this is the other side of it. So this is the silver gumdrop heuchera. And you can see that the anemone just wants to swallow everything up. So I gotta do something about those guys. This is my kindred spirit oak. That's nice and happy. I need to get some water on it though too because it's just so dry out here. And then I've got to cut back my spirea, just kind of taking mental notes here. But my Tamukiyama Japanese maple, I need to figure out how to layer that a little bit to get some air through there and it'll open it up a bit, but looks really, really pretty. But lots of poppies and lots of color in here. Yeah, that's the garden. Oh, and last night I'm out here and this pigeon walks out from the bushes here. So I've got some emerald green arborvitaes here. And I was watering some things and out walks this little pigeon. And he had a wound on it. I was hoping to get close enough to catch him and take him to the wildlife center. But I was feeding him some black oil sunflower seeds, put a little bowl of water out for him, and he hung around for a while and then he took off. So I hope he's okay. But anyway, that is my garden. Look at this red spike amaranth. I love that plant. And then right in here you can see all the jewels of opar, and that's another plant. Once you plant jewels of opar, you always have jewels of opar. Look at all those little guys. Great see-through plant, very wispy, airy looking, and just easy, very easy, but you'll have it forever if you plant it. So just, that's your warning. And that is my garden so far, you guys. Look at these double scoops. I think this is double scoop raspberry, echinacea. And I prefer that one to the double scoop watermelon. So still very pretty though. But it's one of those I planted a couple years ago, and fortunately, they've both come back. So coneflowers are not always reliable, but so far so good with those guys. And that is what's happening in my garden today. So thanks for watching, and I've got some work to do. I've got some rearranging to do. I won't do it right now because there is no rain in sight, and just hand watering things is exhausting. I don't have a drip system, so certain things are just gonna have to wait, and I'm really excited about getting the pussy willow trees out of the backyard and reconfiguring that and getting a shed in there. The shed probably won't happen until next year, but my goal is to share with you my garden every week from now on so you can see how things change, and I'll see you in the next one. All right guys, thanks for watching. See ya.